Mrs. Barwig. I do not see Miss Barnes on the Zoom meeting yet, so we can give her a couple of minutes.
Yes, please. Can you reach out to her?
Yeah. Oh, there she is. We have all 5 board members and Dr. Durant, myself, Mr. Gant. We should be good to go.
Okay, well then let's go ahead and get started. Good evening. Welcome to the regular board meeting for Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021 for Toledo Public Schools. Mr. Sexualty, will you call the roll?
Ms. Barnes.
Present.
Mrs. Eichenberg.
Here.
Mr. Vasquez.
Here.
Mrs. Gherkin. Mrs. Craig.
I'm sorry, did you call my name? I couldn't hear you.
Yes, I did.
Here, thank you. Okay, next can we go to the pledge, please? Mr. Sexualty, I could not hear any of that. I'm assuming that others could not either, or am I mistaken?
I couldn't hear it either.
Is there a way to amplify that?
Yeah, let me go this route. Was that better?
No, I think there's something you have to click that you're sharing your computer audio when you put up a video.
All right.
For those that might be wondering, we are working towards every month having student or students from our district recite the Pledge of Allegiance. We want to make sure we get this right.
Yep. All right, let's try it one more time.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, that was much better. It was wonderful. Okay, moving on to our vision, Dr. Durant.
Yes, Toledo Public Schools' mission to produce competitive college and career-ready graduates through a rigorous curriculum across all grade levels by implementing Ohio New Learning Standard with fidelity. Our vision statement is to strive to be an A-rated school district whose graduates are college and career ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Durant, do you know the name of the student that just recited that? I want to make sure her name gets announced on our board meeting.
It's Twanisha Rogers. Twanisha Rogers.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. All right, in section 2 presentation, I will continue with Dr. Durant then.
Yes, we're going to turn this right over to Ms. Mazur.
Mazer doesn't have sound. And you don't have a microphone, so maybe you didn't join the sound when you first came on. There you go. Now you have a microphone.
Still can't hear you.
Nope, no sound. We can see you though. You look great.
So with that said, I'm going to take over. So the life changer of the year. So our special trade presentation, we have the life changer of the year. Tonight, we're going to learn more about the Life Changer of the Year program, a nationally recognized effort that honors K-12 public school educators and employees who are making a difference in the lives of students by exemplifying excellence, positive influence, and leadership. TPS has 5 educators who have earned this distinction. Here to tell us more about Life Changers of the Year program is Mallory Manoff, as well as Joe Vasquez. We're here to share more information about this. If we can allow them access, please.
Hi, Dr. Durant. Thank you very much for the intro. Mallory unfortunately had a last minute engagement here, so you're stuck with me. So thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you all. And thank you to the Toledo Public Schools Board for having us this evening. Again, my name is Joe Busquet. I'm a representative of National Life Group and the National Life Group's Foundation's Life Changer of the Year program. I'm joined today by one of our local agents, Nathan Snar, who represents us with Appreciation Financial and works with several of your fine district employees there at the district. As Dr. Durant had alluded to, Life Changer of the Year recognizes and rewards the very best K through 12 public and private school educators and employees across the United States who are making a difference and an impact in the lives of students by exemplifying excellence, positive influence, and leadership, just to name a few. This is our 10th year of the program, and to date we've recognized more than 5,500 educators and school district employees in nearly 2,000 school districts in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. When the 2020/2021 program cycle ends, we will have awarded more than $650,000 to school employees in school districts. I'm here today to recognize and thank Toledo Public Schools for nominating 6 life-changing educators in the 2020-21 program cycle. This includes folks from paraprofessionals, special education, art history, and we even had a retired teacher in there, which is excellent to see. To help support the work of these incredible educators, the National Life Group Foundation has made a $750 donation to the Toledo Public Schools Foundation in recognition of all the great work that you're doing at Toledo Public Schools. I'd like to recognize those 6 nominees from our 2020-21 program cycle. They are Emery Urban, Karen Hardy, Lori Wiederman, Dawn Forrest, Joe Boyle, and Mary Jane Strader. On behalf of National Life Group, the National Life Group Life Changer of the Year program, we really appreciate your participation in the program and having both Nathan and I present today at the board meeting. Thanks again so much, Dr. Durant, for the kind intro at the beginning there, and I'll leave you be.
We appreciate you and thank you for taking part in our board meeting today. And we look forward to continuing this partnership we've done. So thank you again. With that said, I'm going to turn this right back over to Ms. Mazur if she's available.
Good evening again. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Again, a quick update about Ms. Rogers, who performed the Pledge of Allegiance for us this evening. She is a recent transfer, and she is a junior and is in Gloria Wu's American Government class. And Ms. Wu is very excited about the idea of having students recite the pledge each month. So I already have a student lined up for next month already. So, and the funds that are being donated to the district for the Life Changer Award, those funds are going to the TPS Foundation. And it will go directly to the Creative Impact Grant. So we know that the funds will continue to directly impact, allow teachers to impact students in the classroom. Now I am very excited that I'm back on to be able to talk about the STARS Award. Each year, the Ohio School Boards Association presents awards to board members across the state who have demonstrated a dedication to self-improvement, service to their association, and work on behalf of their own board. This is the first year that OSBA will recognize board members who have earned points towards service and training in the new STAR Awards program. And that stands for Service, Training, Aptitude, and Recognition. On Thursday, March 11th, during the OSBA Northwest Ohio Region Spring Conference, our very own Mrs. Chris Varwig will receive this prestigious award. Congratulations, Mrs. Varwig, and you've always been a star in our eyes. So congratulations on that. And then the last presentation then will be the retirees for the evening. And we have Sherry Schmidt. She is an early childhood intervention specialist with 25 years of service. Dora Aldana, a paraprofessional at Bowser with 25 years and 7 months of service. Janet Gargak, working facility site coordinator with 32 years and 3 months of service. Katrina Plickard, music teacher at Old West End Academy with 32 years and 5 months of service. Byron Harris, physical education teacher at Bowser, 35 years and 5 months of service. Cynthia Schroeder, she's a kindergarten teacher at Whittier with 35 years and 9 months of service. And that is a total of 186 years and 9 months of service to Toledo Public Schools. We thank them all, and we thank them all for being TPS proud.
Thank you. Wow, that's incredible. Best wishes to all of them. Okay, if we're going to move on, we'll do that for section 3 as community comments, and there are none this evening. Section 4 is our organizational input. Mr. Ramirez, I thought I saw you online.
Yes, thank you. First, I'd like to congratulate you on your STARS Award. That is well deserved, especially with your legislative work. I can tell you I do appreciate it on my end for public education, and I'm sure everybody else does too. So thank you. I didn't have much. I just wanted to say I also want to thank the board for last month's vote on the MOU for negotiations, and TAAP looks forward to starting negotiations again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. And is Mr. Dalton online for TFT?
Yes.
Mr. Dalton?
Kevin, you're muted.
All right, sorry about that. Getting used to this technology, I guess. So congratulations, Ms. Varwig, on your recent award. Also, congratulations to the educators who were acknowledged by the Group Life Insurance Program Financial Services there. That's a great honor and great donation to the TPS Foundation. And again, I'd echo what Mr. Ramirez said regarding Ms. Varwig's legislative action and activism. I believe it was, there's been many phone calls by Ms. Varwig and I talking about similar issues and what we need to do to be able to push public education forward on behalf of our students. So thank you. Additionally, thanks to the board for the support on the MOU and the MAD that we had worked out through negotiations. And I'm happy to report that the Toledo Federation of Teachers and the board's bargaining team, spearheaded by Mr. Gant, have been meeting regularly and aggressively for the last few weeks, looking to meet our timelines and dates that were embedded within the MAD. cautiously optimistic that we can do that. I think all of our conversations have been really pointed to moving the needles within Toledo Public Schools, whether they be academic or cultural, and I'm very excited about that. On another note, I did want to address a couple things. As we know, yesterday was the return to in-person instruction via a hybrid model, and many of our folks, if not all, are excited and have been looking forward to getting back to in-person instruction. However, many of them are also cautious that we're doing it before getting the second dose of the vaccination, which this is no secret to any of you. So, but we do appreciate and look forward to getting back to a full, safe, reinstitution of in-person instruction. The other thing I wanted to bring up this evening was that I am concerned that in as many as 2.5 or so weeks, directives have gone out to our special education teachers for the sake of convenience for administration to complete clerical work, which is ultimately preventing the teachers from providing services to students during the day. I've been working with the district, hoping to get resolution. We have not yet, but wanted to kind of bring it up because I know that this has been a touchy subject with many of us and wanted to keep it moving. But I appreciate everyone's time. And again, congratulations to everybody. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dalton. And let's see, moving on is anyone here from AFSCME?
Miss Bailey let us know that she would not be here this evening.
Okay, all right. Noted. Thank you so much. At this time, we will entertain comments by the board. Ms. Barnes, I'll just kind of do a roll call because I can't ever see everyone.
I hope you can hear me. I'm double masked right now, so I'm gonna speak in my mommy's voice. So first, Madam President, thank you and for all you do. I like to get in good trouble with you, you know that. So of course, this award is not a shock of all the good deeds you have done. So congratulations to you. And also to the 6 educators. You are life changers, and I'm so glad that you are recognized for the good work that you do. So keep making us TPS proud. And I just want to say it's almost getting warm outside, so that's great and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Ms. Eichenberg.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. Wanted to congratulate instructors who were awarded the Life Changer Award. I don't see it on the agenda that their names are embedded in there. So I would love it if we could get a follow-up maybe from Ms. Mazur that will help us so we can congratulate them individually if we'd like to. And then, of course, I'd like to recognize Ms. Barwig. It's a very nice award. She's done a lot, both for OSBA and for the state, as well as the district. So it's good to see that acknowledged. And of course, TPS doing the right things once again, whether it's our board or our staff. I did want to also give a thank you. We had a really, really large percent of our staff show up for the first vaccination that was available to them. And I know some will, continue to roll in due to other circumstances, maybe beyond their control on the timing or an illness or things like that. It's super important. I'd like to point out there was a piece in Ed Week that was just published that, there are studies that show that it's the adults in the building who tend to be where COVID can be spread from, just because they move from student to student and they interact, so much. So it's so important that we have those vaccinations so that the adults don't spread it amongst themselves and then out to the students. And so we really appreciate, people going ahead and doing that. I know some people get nervous about these things. I'm really looking forward to getting my vaccination when my time slot finally arrives, since I'm not a primary employment educator. So, I know that it doesn't feel like a zero risk situation to anybody. And I just want to thank everybody for their enthusiasm in both getting their vaccination and getting back into the building. So I wanted to express that across the board to our staff. The other thing I wanted to add is how extraordinarily disappointed I am in the federal government. It literally kept me up last night. I found myself at 2 a.m. waking up, formulating an angry letter to my federal representatives. And I haven't even written it down yet because it needs to be nice. And right now I can't be nice to hear that it's important that we administer state level standardized tests to our students this year so that we can measure and see what needs to be addressed might be one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in a long time, because, you know, as we think about what we're doing to address and augment instruction for our students and advise some students about some summer learning opportunities that may be available to them, we're not going to wait until we get the results of a state test that was administered that took days out of a schedule that's already had too many days taken out of it to administer to students, that takes them out of their, you know, career tech class for days at a time because they're taking these, you know, these state mandated tests that don't make any sense in this year. Our teachers know if a student needs that additional help, and they have tools that are immediate diagnostic tests like the measure of academic progress. Those things can be used. They can be used very briefly. They can be schedule adjusted so students don't have to miss things like that license time they needed in their career tech class. And instead, we're going to have students sitting for tests because the federal government said, oh, we're not going to issue waivers. And now the state will use that to say, not only are we not going to do the federal waiver then, but we're going to make sure we have to take all the other tests. There are bills out there. Senator Fetter was still pushing today to say, you know, there may be, you know, 17 federally mandated tests, but Ohio has 21. So at least strip out the other 4. But what a waste of time to spend time administering a test this year that we already know is going to show us that some of our students aren't where we want them to be. And in fact, we want them to be in school a little longer for some of those students because we know they need that extra help. It's mind blowing. And I'm just disgusted by the education oversight, both federal and state at this point, that this hasn't been fixed and people haven't thought about this more this year. So I wanted to go on record, and I will stop now because I could take the rest of our time if I kept going. But thank you for letting me get that off my chest, Ms. Farway.
Always entertained. Mr. Vasquez.
I just wanted to congratulate you, our educators, and our young lady who did the pledge. I want to thank her as well. And this is all what makes us TPS proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gerken.
Thank you. First, I just want to say to Mr. Steck-Schulte, I'd give anything for one of those little cheesy bags of Doritos that you provide us at in-person meetings. So I don't have my snack, but you know, I do miss meeting you all, and looking forward to being able to get it together safely in the physical space so that we can meet together and have little snacks if we need to. I'm really proud of 5 more educators, or 6, was it 6? I think I went 6 more educators that we can say have stood out to be TPS proud and directly impacts our ability to provide more creative impact grants through the TPS Foundation. That's super good news. And I agree, we'd love to see, you know, their names, or, you know, a Facebook post or some way that we're going to recognize them a little bit more publicly. Appreciate that. And you know, this, of course, Mrs. Varwig, to congratulate you on the STAR Award. We all work really well together as a board, and lots of folks locally know your work, and we certainly know your work among and between us in the community. But when it comes from a state association or a state organization, it takes being a board member to another level, right? We all, you know, engage at the state level as much as we can. Many times a local board position is, you know, really about the local work. You take that statewide work to the next level. As we all know, when you're working on your state advocacy and keeping up with legislation and sharing things that need further sharing, and you're reminding us to the organizer, and you is working overtime many nights when it comes to state level work. So your leadership at the state brings not only great credit to you, but to us as a district, because you know, it's important. It's the state, there's lots of school districts in the state, and sometimes the urban districts don't get the opportunity to stand out the way they need to. And so I really appreciate what you bring to the table at the state level. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. You humble me. I will tell you, it's an honor to receive the award, and it is certainly an honor to represent the district and my colleagues. I feel that we are a good team, and when I'm able to get out there and advocate for public education and our district and urbans and just the state of Ohio, I feel like I'm representing the four of you as well. So I do appreciate the thank yous and the honor for receiving this award. We all do this because it's the right thing to do and we believe in public education. So having an award is kind of a feather in the cap of the district. That's how I look at it. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Ms. Rogers from Bowser for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm really excited about the opportunity to have students do our pledge every month. It's just our way to connect, even if it's virtually, but it's really nice to see that. And then again, our educators, I'm always amazed, but they do such great work. And to have this type of award, they are life changers. All of our teachers and our staff members, our principals, they are life changers every day. So the fact that we get a little recognition in this district and they get a little extra recognition, it's just, again, a feather in the cap of the district. So I agree with both Ms. Eichenberg and Ms. Gerken about making sure that their names are added to our board agenda here, or board recognition, and something to do with the district, maybe putting out on the social media format. I'd also like to take a moment to reiterate just a little bit of what Ms. Eichenberg talked about. I'm not going to go into detail because she hit it right on the head. I will say I'm highly disappointed as well. I've thought about nothing else but that. What has happened from the federal level, it just makes everything so much more difficult. And to me, it is a complete failure of federal and state when it comes to making student-centered decisions. And I'm going to leave it at that. One more thing though, I looked down at my notes and I'm like, oh, I need to do this. So I attended an Urban Advisory Network meeting today with the Ohio School Board Association. And Ms. Eichenberg, I will tell you, again, there was a small section where we got the opportunity to hear from Ross regarding the proposal of a new report card that I am so proud that Toledo and Canton took the initiative, and our staff member, Chad Hinderly, part of that, Ms. Eichenberg, heavily involved in this. I'm so proud to say that you are my colleagues and that we are going to push the envelope. It is going to be an uphill battle, but I'm excited to hear that there are legislators that are truly looking at it and know that it's the right way to go, as opposed to the punitive measure that we currently have in place. So thank you for your efforts. Again, I feel like this is a good team and we all bring our strengths to the table, and that is certainly one of your strengths, is getting down into the numbers, and thank you for those efforts. All right, I will move on now to section 6, which is our consent agenda. Agenda items 6.01 through 6.27 are the consent agenda items. Board members may request to pull an item from the consent and move to this discussion section of the agenda at any time. Item 6.01 to 6.06 is human resources. Chair is Polly Taylor Gerken. Co-chair is Stephanie Eichenberg. Item 6.07 to 6.10 is finance and business operations. Chair is Bob Vasquez. Co-chair is Chris Warwig. Item 6.11 is technology improvements and process committee. Chair is Stephanie Eichenberg and co-chair is Polly Taylor Gerken. Again, thank you ladies for taking that new committee on. Item 6.12 and 6.13 board curriculum. Chair is Polly Taylor Gerken, co-chair is Chris Warwig. Item 6.14 to 6.22 is policy committee. Chair is Sheena Barnes, co-chair Bob Vasquez. Item 6.23, arts, athletics, and student activities committee. Chair Stephanie Eichenberg, co-chair Chris Warwig. Items 6.24 and 6.25, Family and Community Engagement Committee. Chairs Bob Vasquez, co-chair Sheena Barnes. Items 6.26 and 6.27 are the approval of the board meeting minutes. At this time, I would request a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved, Barnes.
Seconded, Eichenberg.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Treasurer, hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig.
Yes. Section 7 of the agenda consists of reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings and are here for information and reference. There's no action required at this time. We'll move on to Section 8, which is the discussion section. And there are 3 resolutions in front of us. Hopefully one of them will get passed today out of the committee, but we're going to go ahead and present these anyways. 8.01 is a resolution to endorse a requirement that schools transmit a transferred student's record within 5 days as proposed in House Bill 34. Whereas for many reasons, tens of thousands of Ohio students must change school districts during the school year, and whereas under current Ohio law, there is no deadline by which school must transfer a student's records to the student's new school, and whereas it is key that students' education records follow them in a timely manner, and whereas obtaining school records within 5 school days will allow the student to more smoothly transition into this new school and receive all of the services and participate in all of the activities to which the student is entitled. And whereas the failure to timely transfer student records has an especially profound effect on students with disabilities. And whereas HB 34 requires that public or chartered non-public schools transmit a transferred student's records within 5 days, school days, and receiving a request from the new school that the student is attending. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Toledo City School District that Section 1, the board formally endorses HB 34 of the 134th General Assembly to require that schools transmit a transferred student's records within 5 days of the record request from the new school. Section 2, the treasurer is authorized to deliver or cause to be delivered a certified copy of this resolution to community leaders, to members of the House of Representatives and the Ohio Senate, and to the office of Governor Mike DeWine. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its adoption and shall supersede any prior resolution or act of this board, which may be inconsistent or duplicative with the provisions of this resolution. And Section 4, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and of any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. May I have a motion to accept?
So moved. Vasquez.
Seconded.
Eichenberg.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
Do you mind if I comment, Ms. Barwick?
No, by all means, please.
So I think another facet of this it's important to keep in mind is that if we can get this written into law, and it almost was, it made it out of the House and out of the Senate Ed Committee and then never got voted on by the Senate last year at the end of the year. I think someone compared the reset of the General Assembly to be like, you know, Atlas carrying the world up the mountain. You just have to stand. And it's important because not only do we need our students to have their records go with them quickly, especially if they have special needs, but we do find that sometimes a private school will hold transcripts in order or hold information on a transfer student in order to try to collect any remaining tuition from them, which leaves those students potentially having to repeat several years worth of credits if they're a high school student in order to graduate, and it counts against our Toledo Public Schools graduation rate that they did not graduate on time. It is wrong on so many levels. And I think that it's critical that this bill be passed, because if you are a private school who offers somebody a partial scholarship or takes advantage of the voucher program and then does not help them understand the commitment they're making for the rest of your tuition, you are acting irresponsibly towards that family and towards the student, and it should never become Toledo Public Schools' problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is any additional discussion? No, and thank you, Ms. Eichenberg. That's exactly, I think, what we're all thinking. So thank you for voicing that. Treasurer, please call the roll then for the vote.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig.
Yes. Thank you. Who decided to put all three resolutions in one meeting? All right, 8.02, a resolution to endorse a change to permanent law that allows public bodies to meet via teleconference and video conference as introduced in House Bill 43. Whereas the current Open Meetings Act generally requires public bodies to take official action and deliberate official business only in open meetings where the public may attend, and members of the public body must be present in person in order to be considered present, vote, or be counted as part of a quorum. And whereas the executive orders implemented to address the COVID-19 public health pandemic prevented public meetings to be conducted in person, and whereas the 133rd General Assembly provided temporary flexibility from the Open Meetings Act by allowing public bodies to conduct meetings via teleconference and video conference, and whereas public bodies have successfully been able to provide both access to view public meetings and to continue to provide a format for public comment, and whereas House Bill 43 will permanently allow public bodies to meet via teleconference and video conference, and whereas House Bill 43 will require public bodies to provide the public with access to meetings and hearings commensurate with the method in which the meeting is being conducted, and whereas the proposed law allows but does not require that public bodies hold public meetings via teleconference and video conference, and whereas this flexibility will help ensure continuity of public meetings during weather and other potential hazard conditions that would impact the ability of the public body and public to meet in person. Now, therefore, get resolved by the Board of Education of the Toledo City School District that Section 1, the board formally endorses House Bill 43 of the 134th General Assembly to update the Open Meetings Act to provide methods in which a public body can continue to meet. Section 2, the treasurer is authorized to deliver or cause to be delivered a certified copy of this resolution to community leaders, to members of the Ohio House of Representatives and the Ohio Senate, and to the office of Governor Mike DeWine. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its adoption and shall supersede any prior resolution or act of this board, which may be inconsistent or duplicative with the provisions of this resolution. And Section 4, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second, Barnes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig.
Yes. Okay, one more. I'm trying to read them as fast as I can, you guys. 8.03, a resolution to endorse a temporary waiver of state testing for the 2020-21 school year as proposed in House Bill 40 and House Bill 67. Whereas K through 12 schools from across the state have responded to the COVID-19 public health pandemic and have continued to meet the needs of their students, and whereas K through 12 schools provided that instruction through various different forms, including fully in-person, hybrid, and remote teaching models, and whereas Governor Mike DeWine prioritized vaccinations for adult school workers who work in school districts that committed to provide instruction via fully in-person or hybrid by March 1st, 2021, and whereas 608 public school districts have committed to bring students back for in-person learning by March 1st, 2021. And whereas K through 12 schools should be focused on providing intense instruction to their students and developing plans to address learning loss developed due to the pandemic, not on administering state testing. Whereas House Bill 40 and House Bill 67 will exempt all public and chartered non-public schools from administering the state achievement assessments for the 2021 school year. And whereas House Bill 40 and 67 requires the Ohio Department of Education to seek a waiver from the U.S. Secretary of Education from federal testing requirements if the USED grants such a waiver. Whereas the state assessment window opens on March 22nd and the bills and their emergency clauses must be swiftly passed. And whereas these bills will allow K through 12 schools to focus squarely on adjusting students to in-person learning and getting students back on track. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Toledo City School District that Section 1, the board formally endorses HB 40 and HB 67 of the 134th General Assembly to allow a waiver of state testing and request a federal waiver if it becomes available. Section 2, the treasurer is authorized to deliver or cause to be delivered a certified copy of this resolution to community leaders, to members of the Ohio House of Representatives and the Ohio Senate, and to the office of Governor Mike DeWine. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and immediately after its adoption and shall supersede any prior resolution or act of this board, which may be inconsistent or duplicative with the provisions of this resolution. And Section 4, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were taken in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board of any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, treasurer, please call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerken,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig.
Yes. Thank you. Let's see. At this time, let's move to Section 9. Are there any walk-ins this evening?
There are no walk-ins.
Thank you. Section 10, Early Childhood Education Action Items. Chair is Polly Taylor Gerken. Co-chair is Sheena Barnes. And Ms. Gerken, I'll turn it over to you at this time.
So we just have one action item, and that's approving the committee-wide needs assessment. And we are particularly proud of this document. I hope you all have had a chance to see it. It's worthy of attention. I think the community as a whole should be clamoring for a copy of this. It was a lot of work. I should really let Dr. Allen mention the collaboration that went into effect, but this is especially folks that worked in nonprofit world understand the importance of having all of this at your fingertips, this kind of data about your community and the needs in your community when you're making the case for developing programming and developing, whether it's grant writing or looking for services for a community. This is a highly professional document that is useful to the entire community. Required by Head Start. So, they said we had to do it. So we might as well do something that's really good and thorough and useful to the community. Dr. Allen, are you able to chime in on that as well? We just need a vote to accept.
Sure. Yeah, we just need a vote. It is, thank you for the accolades. We did contract out with someone for the formatting and proofreading, but nice collaborative with us between Great Lakes Community Action, Lucas County Family Council, and Brightside Academy. We all serve in the same community, so one community assessment seemed to make sense to us, and we are really pleased with the outcome. Thanks.
And I would just like to add that I hope that we make this available far and wide to the community and to community partners that may need it, and maybe just even deliberately send some mass emails saying, look what we did. We hope this is helpful, because it's important work. How often do we do one of these, Dr. Allen?
It's required every 3 years.
Every 3 years. And I thought the last one was really good and impressive. And so here we go. Good work. Lots of updated data about the needs of the community. So I appreciate the support.
Thank you very much. So we'll entertain a motion then.
So moved. Vasquez.
Seconded, Eichenberg.
And moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Yeah.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig.
Yes. Okay, and section 11 of the agenda consists of early childhood education reports and minutes from this month's committee meetings and are provided for your information reference. There's no action required at this time. Let's see, early childhood walk-ins. Anything?
We don't have any walk-ins, but I would ask the board's indulgence for a moment to take a look at calendars. We have our annual required Head Start training due between now and June. I think probably at this point with things the way they are, sort of still virtual and not knowing when or if we're going to be fully in person, that I would propose a special board meeting for that. I know in the past we've tried to combine it with a committee meeting. And then also maybe even, it's pretty short. I think Dr. Allen's got this down. It can be done in 45 minutes to an hour. Maybe we could, do a little lunch and learn or something, midday where we could just do a quick hour rather than another special board meeting in the evening. I don't know how the rest of you feel about that. That would just be my first, my initial thought on the topic. And Dr. Allen, any particular thoughts? You plan on doing a 45-minute presentation for us because you can do the training yourself now.
Yeah, and I'll make you a deal. I'm pretty sure we can get through it in 30 minutes.
30 minutes, okay. So it really could be a lunch and learn.
Even better. So, Ms. Gherkin, do you want to send an email to the board to look for, do you want to propose some dates and send that out to the board?
Well, I'm wondering if we could just look in May and pick a date while we've got everybody. Do you mind checking calendars? I mean, May seems like it'd be a good little, time to do it. We've got spring break in April. By the time June rolls around, we'll be planning for July.
Right.
So I'm,
So is there,
if it were a lunchtime thing, does anybody have any restrictions on a day of the week that would be better for lunchtime? I think Ms. Eichenberg, you have one day you cannot do a lunchtime thing.
Tuesdays.
So Tuesdays. So the 5th or the 19th on a Wednesday.
I'm only open Thursdays and Tuesdays, so I know Tuesdays won't work for me.
Okay, so we need a Thursday that we can do it at lunchtime. Then what about like the 27th? Because I think I'm tied up lunch hours those other three Thursdays. The 27th?
The 27th I have clear right now.
Okay, so could we do a noon?
Sure.
I'm good with that.
All right, we've accomplished that.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Ms. Eichenberg?
Dr. Allen? You're good?
Yep, that'd be great.
What is the final date that it needs to be done by? Just curious.
Well, that is kind of a loaded question.
Okay.
It's supposed to be done each spring. I'm sure we could get some grace from the Office of Head Start, but since we didn't get it done last year, my request of Ms. Gherkin was that we get it done before the end of this school year, before June 1st, so that we can kind of get ourselves back on track.
Okay.
So if we could get that notice out, and if it helps you, Dr. Allen, to invite Policy Council, it's up to you. If you want to try to invite them so that you're doing both trainings at once, they're certainly welcome. Thank you, everyone. That's all I have for.
That's all you have? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Barnes.
We're good? Okay. All right. Section 13 then is executive session. And I'd like to request a motion to enter into executive session for the following: to consider the employment or compensation of a public employee or official, and to consider the purchase of a property for public purposes or for the sale of property at competitive bidding if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest.
So moved.
Second. Oh, gotcha.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Varwig.
Yes. Okay, so at this time, we'll go ahead and excuse ourselves from this meeting and then head over to executive session. Do we have everybody back, Mr. Sexualty?
I don't see Vasquez, Mr. Vasquez.
Yeah, I don't see Stephanie or Bob. Oh, there goes Stephanie.
Okay.
Yep. No, we're not Mr. Vasquez.
Oh dear. Okay.
I should go run and start my car.
Okay, Mr. Vasquez is having difficulty again.
Oh, he probably went to the another link. It's the same one we used prior. He probably don't realize that.
Mr. Sexualty, can you send the link to Mr. Vasquez?
For the panelist. What's it?
Okay. He says he's trying the original link.
The original link is what worked for me. Let me see if I can.
Same here.
Find the one that worked for me. Here's the one that worked for me. I'm going to send it to him real quick.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Tell him I'm sending it to him. Oh, although it's might not work for him because they're tied to your email addresses, right, Ryan? He may come in with my name. Now that I think about it, because you can rename him. Did you tell him that I sent it to him?
I did. I said that you sent him an email.
I just forwarded
link.
my
Mhm.
see if he can get back in on that one.
Mr. Sexualty, do you want to call Mr. Vasquez? See if there's what the issue is specifically? Gotta love technology, right?
Most of the time.
Well, these are the times that we need a little music from our students.
Yeah.
We'll be asking for that. Oh, goodness.
I'll walk you through it. Okay, hey, Chris,
Yes.
can you go on to the participants tab?
Yep.
And at the invite bottom, it says invite.
Sure.
Are you able to, then it comes up with 3 emails? Pick the Gmail and then send that to Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Then he should have it.
Okay, I just sent that.
Okay. Bob, it should be on its way.
So, Mr. Sexualty, if that doesn't work, then can we just get Bob on the phone so we can finish out this meeting?
Telephonic. Telephonic participation is allowed.
Yes, it is.
So Bob, are you comfortable with it finishing out on phone?
I guess I have to be.
Just go ahead and FaceTime him. That'll at least put him in digital presence.
Okay.
Okay,
There we have Bob.
Okay, fabulous. We're going to reconvene you from executive session. I'd like to request a motion to reconvene, please.
So moved.
Second, Barnes.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? No, hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez. We're voting to come out of executive session.
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mrs. Barwig.
Yes. All right, section 14 through 16. Dr. Durant, superintendent comments, please.
Good. Just want to congratulate our STAR teachers, which is a true reflection of our CPR department. Again, the culture we've created, advocate, as well as acknowledge the works of our people. So great job with that. Congratulations, Ms. Barwig. Again, reflecting the work you're doing as well as the board, whether report card, transcript, academic distress, as well as vouchers. We've been there. And then again, kids are back. I've been out reading. The Cool Cat in the Hat is back. Dr. Seuss is on March 2nd. So I've already been doing the videos for them as well. And if things allow me to get into the classroom, so be it. But as of right now, we've been playing safe videos as well as Black History Month and recording just as that. So if any board members want to ever do any recordings of reading, let us know. We'll put you on and allow you to do so until you can be engaged just as well. Again, thank you. TPS proud.
Thank you. Mr. Sexualty, comments from the treasurer.
I have none this evening.
Okay, board member comments. Ms. Barnes.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Okay, Ms. Eichenberg.
We lost her.
No.
Okay. Mr. Vasquez, any comments by you this evening?
No.
Ms. Gherkin?
Nope, thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Barnes, thank you so much for allowing us to have a hybrid meeting this evening. We appreciate you wearing the mask.
My pleasure.
All right, so at this point, can I entertain a motion to close the meeting, adjourn?
So moved. Barnes.
Seconded, I can.
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, Treasurer, please call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Mrs. Eichenberg,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mrs. Gherkin,
Yes.
Mrs. Varwig.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
See you, Bob.